From the mud to the rise, yeah, we built it on the grind. Trench talk, real talk, leave the fake ones behind. We don't fold, we don't break, every move we define. It's the code from the trenches where the real ones align.
In a small town in Canada, a name rose from obscurity to global fame, Murda Beatz. Born and raised in Fort Erie, a place with no real hip-hop scene, Murda's journey to becoming one of the most sought-after producers in the world is a story of perseverance, passion, and some serious defiance against the odds. His tale begins not in a studio, but with drums. Murda's dad and uncle played music, and he would jam with them. But as he grew older, he realized that he wasn't improving fast enough to pursue a career as a professional drummer. For a while, he thought about ditching music altogether and focusing on a business degree. But everything changed when, right before finishing high school, a friend introduced him to FL Studio. That moment was a turning point, and Murda made his first beat, and he knew instantly this was what he was meant to do. That summer, Murda stayed inside, locked into his craft. He traded his electric drum kit for a keyboard and started cranking out beats. Soon, his name began popping up in music circles, not just in his small town, but also in the wider world. His big break came when he connected with a guy named Your Boy, who had ties to the Bay Area. Inspired by the scene Your Boy was a part of, Murda sent him beats, and before he knew it, he was working with his crew. His hustle didn't stop there. Murda also started selling beats on YouTube, carving out his own space in the digital landscape. However, the road wasn't easy. People close to him, teachers, even the principal, told him to give up, claiming that only one Dr. Dre existed. Classmates mocked him, and everyone around him was focused on more traditional paths, hockey, regular jobs. But Murda wasn't deterred. His conviction to make it in music was unwavering. What truly set him apart, as he shared in interviews, was his approach to social media. He knew that if he wanted to make connections and get his beats into the right hands, he needed to use the platforms at his disposal. While Chief Keef was at the peak of his fame, Murda was working behind the scenes, sending beats to artists and creating a buzz that would lead him to prominence. Today, Murda Beatz is a household name in hip-hop, but his rise to fame wasn't just about talent, it was about resilience, taking risks, and defying expectations. His story is a testament to the power of believing in your dreams, even when the whole world seems set against you. Murda Beatz, the Canadian producer who skyrocketed to the top of the hip-hop game, has always had an eye for strategy. His breakthrough didn't come from just talent, it was about using the tools at his disposal, like social media, to get his music into the right hands. Early on, he knew the power of the algorithm, and so he started titling his beats Chief Keef Type Beat, a move that boosted his YouTube channel by pushing his music to the right audience. But he didn't stop there. Murda knew that connecting with the right people was key to making a name for himself. Using Twitter and Instagram, he would search for lesser-known members of rap crews and send them his beats. This tactic paid off quickly. Within just a few months, Murda went from an unknown kid in his bedroom to collaborating with some of the biggest names in hip-hop. One of his first major breaks came when Soulja Boy hopped on one of his beats. Even though Soulja Boy wasn't at the peak of his career anymore, having him on Murda's track was a significant milestone. It proved that Murda's music was starting to resonate with the industry's heavyweights. Inspired by trap producers from Atlanta like Lex Luger, Murda had no connections to the rap scene when he first started making beats. But that didn't hold him back. Instead, he turned to social media to build connections, and it didn't take long before he caught the attention of Chicago's drill scene, particularly a rapper named Kill Bill. Recognizing that being in Canada wouldn't cut it if he wanted to blow up, Murda made the bold decision to fly to Chicago at just 17 years old, marking a crucial turning point in his career. In Chicago, Murda was exposed to a completely different world, and he soon found himself working with some of the city's biggest names, including Chief Keef and Lil Durk. But Murda wasn't just focused on the mainstream, he had his eye on the underground, and that's when he discovered the Migos. He knew early on that they were going to be something special. After connecting with Migos members Quavo and Takeoff, Murda made a bold move. He offered to give free beats to Quavo's homie, Skippa da Flippa, in exchange for a chance to play his beats for the Migos. It worked. Murda sent his beats to Skippa, and soon enough, Migos followed him on Twitter. Just weeks later, they flew him out to Atlanta to meet up with them. At first, they weren't even sure if Murda was the one actually making the beats. After all, he was just a random white kid from Canada. But when he arrived in Atlanta, the Migos saw that he was the real deal. He stayed with them in the studio for months, making hundreds of tracks, including EMT Smith, the song that would catapult his career and land him his first video on BET and MTV. But despite all the attention and success, Murda wasn't as wealthy as people thought. He recalled how, at the time EMT Smith was playing on major music networks, people back home in Fort Erie thought he had already made millions. The truth? Murda was still struggling financially. He was only charging around $1,000 per beat at the time and was far from the millionaire status many assumed. Still, he kept grinding, knowing that the work he was putting in would eventually pay off. It was a true testament to his hustle and belief in his craft, even when the financial rewards hadn't yet materialized. Murda Beatz, once one of the hottest producers in the rap game, went from being a rising star to suddenly disappearing from the limelight, leaving fans and industry insiders wondering what happened. His ascent was nothing short of meteoric. Starting out as a teenager making beats in his bedroom, he quickly rose to fame by collaborating with some of the biggest names in hip-hop, including the Migos, Drake, French Montana, Gucci Mane, and more. Murda's production was responsible for massive hits like Pipe It Up with the Migos, No Shopping with French Montana and Drake, and Nice for What with Drake, which went 5 times platinum in 2018. That year, Murda started pushing his own brand, positioning himself as more than just a producer but as an artist in his own right. He featured on tracks and worked to get his name out there. The Migos were instrumental in opening doors for him, taking him on tour and making him a key player in the Atlanta rap scene. His collaboration on Fifi with 6ix9ine and Nicki Minaj was a massive hit, but it raised eyebrows due to 6ix9ine's controversial behavior and beef with other artists, particularly Chief Keef. Despite the success, Murda's trajectory seemed to change dramatically after 2018. Though his career appeared to be at its peak, he began to pull away from the studio and started focusing on DJ sets, a move that seemed at odds with his original identity as a producer. He even began getting lucrative offers to DJ, with one opportunity in Hawaii being described as a free vacation that led him to reconsider his stance on live performances. However, even as he was diversifying, his involvement in music production started to wane. By 2020, Murda was still active in the industry, working with Ariana Grande on the track Motive and making headlines with his collaborations, but his promised debut album never materialized. He also became embroiled in controversy, notably with Polo G over a crediting issue on the track Rap Star, which fueled rumors of tension in the industry. In 2021, Murda's output slowed even further, with only sporadic projects and collaborations with artists like Shorty Shorty. His absence from the studio and low-key presence in the public eye continued into 2022, even as he made a few beats for Takeoff and Quavo. The tragic death of Takeoff in November 2022 hit Murda hard, as he had worked closely with the Migos member for years. Murda publicly expressed his desire to honor Takeoff's legacy, shifting focus to his mental health and the pressures that come with fame. As Murda Beatz continued to step back from the spotlight, his story became one of the industry's great mysteries. After dominating the rap scene for nearly 5 years, he disappeared from the game, only occasionally resurfacing for a few collaborations. His personal life, including his 2022 car accident in Japan, further pushed him out of the public eye. Fans are left wondering whether Murda will return with another hit or if he's moved on for good, leaving a legacy marked by both triumph and quiet retreat. In a speech at his high school in Fort Erie, Murda reflected on his journey, from selling his first beat for just $30 to becoming a globally recognized producer. He even donated $10,000 to his former school, showing how far he had come. But with his career taking unexpected turns and a deeper focus on mental health, Murda's future in the music industry remains uncertain. As of now, it seems his time in the spotlight has ended, at least for now, but given his track record, many believe that when he does return, it will be with a massive comeback. That wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed it, Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out when a new video drops. It's totally free and makes a huge difference for the channel. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one.